However, today, it's in the truck, Davy out the truck and at home in his office in Salisbury, North Lanarkshire, where it is lovely afternoon, 15 degrees, partially sunny. That's the weather forecast for Salisbury, North Lanarkshire. You want to know what the weather's like where you are? Look out your own bloody windy. So what brings Davy to your screens today? Well, as you know, I don't watch television. I don't watch mainstream television at all. So it takes a couple of days for me to catch up with things as we prepare for the two Davies show on a Monday and a Thursday. And as I was sifting through the news, hi Ali, as I was sifting through the news, I ran across this on Sky, and it would appear that the lunatic Home Secretary, Suella Bravermen, has actually flipped her lid. Now, I'm going to play a video for these for Sky News, which there's no copyright involved in it. It's out there on YouTube. So I'm just going to borrow it, and I'm going to play this video for these. And I'll stop at certain sections along the way, and we'll discuss where and how desperate this woman is, and how much of a failure she is, and how she has actually flipped her lid and spiraled down the rabbit hole into conspiracy theories to try and blame everybody else for her failures. So I'll pop this video up and I'll stop it from time to time, and we'll discuss the nonsense coming out of this woman's mouth. So here we go.
On to asylum, of course, which is very much a large part of your brief. It's been reported today that the government is considering tagging asylum seekers arriving in the UK to prevent those that you can't house in detention centres disappearing from the system. Is this true? Is this something you're looking at?
Before we go on to her reply to that, they're going to tag asylum seekers because A, probably there's a Tory with a company that makes tags, and B, they don't have anywhere to put them. Under this landmark piece of legislation, they keep talking about the illegal migration bill. Suella Bravermen has a duty to detain anybody arriving here in small boats. And at £1,000 a week, 800 to 1,000 a week, you're going to need an awful lot of detention spaces in a detention centres. So let's move on. But tagging people who are seeking asylum, it's the start of the end of the woman's sanity. And when you look at her image, you can see she's losing her sanity.
We've just enacted a landmark piece of legislation in the form of our Illegal Migration Act that empowers us to detain those who arrive here illegally and thereafter to swiftly remove them to a safe country like Rwanda.
But will you put tags on them in the meantime?
That will require a power to detain and ultimately control those people. We need to exercise a level of control of people if we're to remove them from the United Kingdom.
And this is where we bring this video up short again. Going to tag them, and we're going to remove them, swiftly remove them. The illegal migration bill means that they have a duty to detain them and remove them. Problem for Suella is there is no arrangement to remove them to anywhere, which means as they keep coming in, so-called illegally, which isn't illegal, it's not illegal to seek asylum, as they keep coming here, the amount of people needing to be racked, stacked and packed in detention centres because they're here illegally would skyrocket. So tagging seems to be the way forward. Innocent people seeking asylum to be tagged. Right, let's move on, see what the nut job's going to say next.
We are considering a range of options. We have several thousand or a couple of thousand detention places in our existing removal capacity. We will be working intensively to increase that. But it's clear we're exploring a range of options, all options, to ensure that we have that level of control over people so that they can flow through our system swiftly to enable us to thereafter remove them from the United Kingdom.
So tag them, get them to flow through the system swiftly, and then remove them. Remove them to where, Suella? Now just look at the expression on her face. She hasn't a Scooby, which she's doing. Not the Scooby. But what she is doing is cruel, and she doesn't care. You can see that with a blank look in her eyes. Definitely gone mad dishing.
So not ruling it out. I mean, the legal challenges to the Rwanda scheme are going on through the courts, not expected to be resolved until almost Christmas. You've got 2,000 spaces in the system. That's not enough, is it? What on earth are you going to do with all the others?
Well, let's be clear. No one is suggesting that we need to build, 40,000 new detention places.
I'm suggesting you're going to have to build more, Suella. Either that, you're going to have to monopolise it, you're going to have to take monopoly of producing tags to tag these people. Because 40,000 people apparently arrived in these shores last year. Untrue, of course, it was 20. But the amount's got up to each summer and goes down in the winter. But they're talking about 40,000, 20,000 arrived. Since 2018, there's been 100,000 people come across the channel. That's 20,000 a year. It's no bloody rocket science. But what you're going to have to do, Suella, is get a lot more tags or start building detention centres, because you've got yourself in a mess here, woman. Sorry, Madam Home Secretary. Don't want to be seen as sexist.
That's not what we are proposing. We will need to increase some of our detention capacity, but we already have, as I say, a few thousand places in existence already. This is about flow. This is about ensuring that people who arrive are processed quickly through our system and thereafter are removed swiftly. So we do have capacity existing right now. We're going to use that. But let's be clear, yes, we will have to wait until the outcome of our litigation in the Supreme Court relating to Rwanda. And if we are successful, we will be operationalising our policy. If we're thwarted by the courts, if we're stopped from doing so, we'll do whatever it takes to.
Now, what this Maddie here is telling us is that if the Supreme Court rules against them, they'll just bloody change the law again. And they'll end up back in the court again. If you don't open legal routes for people to be processed, this is what you get. You get people risking their lives in small boats in the channel and dying. Well, this one cares. Well, let's move on and see what the nut job's going to say now.
To ensure that we can stop the boats. That's a pledge that the Prime Minister has made. That's one that I have made. It's one that we are working both night and day to deliver.
It isn't working, though, is it? Last week alone, there were 1,773 migrants who crossed the channel.
So there we have it. There's room in the system. 2,000 spaces, apparently, and 1,700 people arrived last week. Wow.
Not think it was a mistake to make such a bold pledge at the start of the year?
It's what the British people expect of us. It's what.
And there we go again with this British people stuff. Actually, what we expect you today, Miss Bravermen, is devolve immigration to Scotland so that we can process people and bring them here, because we've got a failing demographic. What the people in England expect you to do is process them, allow those who can come and work and make up for the shortfall for Brexit to work, and get rid of the ones who are not entitled to be here. That's what the people expect. Not what you think they expect, you deluded person, you.
What I passionately believe is the right thing to do. And we are making progress. As I said, we've passed our landmark legislation. But let's also be clear about what we're up against. We're up against a range of forces which are intent on stopping us, whether it's immigration lawyers, charities, NGOs, many of whom have very close links with the Labour Party.
There we go. We're off down the rabbit hole into the conspiracy theory space of this vacant animal's head. One brain cell failure lying there in Dumbartonshire's bad enough here in Scotland, but no brain cells Bravermen in the Home Office. Wow. Conspiracy theory, lefty lawyers, charities, NGOs. Try the UN, Suella, who pointed out that your illegal migration bill is illegal. Jesus Christ, this person is definitely flipped its lid.
Operating night and day to stop us in delivering this pledge through legal challenges in the courts, through administering dodgy legal advice to illegal asylum claimants and illegal migrants, through sometimes.
That one didn't have to make me laugh. Offering dodgy legal advice to those seeking asylum. No, what immigration lawyers did are pointing out, Miss Bravermen, that this is the rights under international law, rights which you have written an illegal bill to break.
facilitating illegal migration through their so-called charitable work. There's a range of forces that we are dealing with, including no less than the Labour Party, which is intent
Well,
on
the Labour
stopping
Party
us in
haven't been in
delivering
power for 13 years, so it does seem a little rich to blame them for
the Labour
the
Party
crossing
has
numbers.
no plan whatsoever to stop the boats. They support free movement of people, and actually they want to facilitate illegal migration.
Well, let's get back to what the Conservatives.
Absolutely no evidence. I'm going to be forced to defend the Labour Party. There's absolutely no evidence of what she's saying. What the Labour Party are saying is they'll process them. And that'll bring the numbers down. Because, let's face it, those coming across the channel in small boats aren't arriving illegally. They're arriving to claim asylum, as is the right to do under international law. There is nothing says that they've got to stay in the first safe country that they come to. Otherwise, why have we got all these Ukrainians here rather than Poland? Really, really deluded now. When medical attention could well be necessary for this person.
Conservative government is doing. We're giving France £500 million over 3 years to try to boost policing on the beaches there. I mean, is it good value for money? In terms of the number of intercepts that are carried out, it's actually fallen slightly this year compared to last year, hasn't it? I mean, is it worth the paper that it's written on?
Our relationship with France is absolutely critical to succeeding in stopping the boats. I work very closely with
your relationship or our relationship with France is very important in stopping the boats. The French are laughing them. We're paying for their police right along their coast. What are they complaining about? Once they get into the water, nothing they can do about it. And I don't know whether you know this, Miss Bravermen, but France has got a big, long coastline. And it faces the UK. Well, this one's a real numpty.
With my opposite number, the Interior Minister for France, and I know at the highest levels between Prime Minister and President, we are collaborating and working closely. We now have, for the first time ever, UK Border Force officers working side by side with French Border Force officers in France.
And the UK Border Force operators operating in France are loving it. They're on holiday getting paid, pay them every weekend. Yeah! They're not interested in getting into fights with illegal migrants either. It's not their jobs. Beside the point that they're not illegal, they're asylum seekers.
To increase the surveillance, to increase the intelligence sharing. And there have been hundreds of arrests of people smuggling gangs and convictions of those who are facilitating illegal migration across the channel. It's vital that we work upstream. But let's also be clear, the only effective way to stop this problem is to break the model of the people smuggling gangs.
And the only way to break the model of the people smuggling gangs is to put in legal routes for people to get there. Instead of giving the French £500 million to perform an absolutely impossible task of trying to stop these people coming across the channel, why don't you spend the £500 million and building bloody process centres in France? Oh, this one's flipped it.
Through upstream interception, but also by deterrence and ensuring that those who attempt this journey in the first place will be penalised and will have to face consequences such as removal from the United Kingdom.
And here we go with a deterrent. What does an illegal migrant in France know about what's going on here in the UK or further afield as they set off on their journey to get here? Let's be clear, they're coming here because empire, to speak the language. They're coming here because of the Commonwealth, you know, where their families have moved to. They've got relations here. That's why they're coming here. Oof, this seems really nuts.
Before we go, Nadine Dorries, of course, resigned at the weekend. What did you make of her resignation?
Now, there's another video out there, it's part of this, where Miss Bravermen, when asked about the Bibby Stockholm and the fire brigade saying it was no safe, I just watched it, she said, oh, the fire brigade are associated with Labour, so it's political that they say the barge is unsafe. And me, almighty Bravermen, says the barge is safe. She then goes on to state that these barges have been used in Scotland for holding asylum seekers. which is a bloody lie. We had Ukrainian refugees on holiday-style cruise ships. Totally different thing altogether. If these barges have been used in Scotland, then it'll be what they were designed for, holding workers who worked offshore. That's what the Vivi Stockholm was designed for oil workers, because there wasn't enough hotel spaces where they were being accommodated in places like the Shetlands or along the Nordic coast. Wow. So that's the Davy shot for the day. I maybe get a lot more of these things to try and fall in the space between Monday and Thursday when there's nothing on. But nurse! Bravermen's off her meds and off her heads. That's a minister in office who has no brain cells, who is vacant of ideas and vacant of morality. It's dangerous that is that creature. So I hope you enjoyed that. I'd like to say it was fun showing you it, but people have to realise how deluded Miss Bravermen is doing the rabbit hole with NGOs are trying to stop her. They're all trying to comply with international law, Bravermen, you nutter. And so, folks, if you like this wee short, hit the like button, please. It helps with the YouTube algorithm. And share across your social media. Okay. Change our policy here. Normally when I'm doing Indie Truck Davy, I don't self-promote. But it's time to get in about it. There's elections coming and we're going to get battered into the Labour Party and the Tory Party. So there might be a lot more of these shots on the go. Okay, so it's Indie Truck Davy signing off. Have a nice day. Bye from